I've got Bob with 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗹 Footwear. Today, Bob, I want to talk about what goes into a proper fitting shoe, right? Because it's kind of a generic term. And I think one of the things that people don't realize is that if they start experiencing foot pain, that if you don't take care of it by finding the right shoe, it's going to lead to foot problems down the road that could be permanent.
That's true, Ryan. A proper fitting shoe starts with the proper structure. So you really want to grab a shoe and get a shoe for you that has the proper structure. And what I mean by that is that the shoe isn't too flimsy. So a shoe is going to have what's called a heel counter. And a strong heel counter is a great way to start when you're fitting your shoe. And what a heel counter does is it stabilizes the heel so that it doesn't slide right off to the inside or to the outside of the shoe, but it keeps the heel stabilized inside the heel cup. The second thing for a great fitting shoe is that it's wide enough and deep enough for the foot. And so people that have a wider, deeper foot should be buying wide width shoes. And so you should have a little bit of room to pinch right here on the top. So this should not be
while your foot's in there.
While your foot is in the shoe, laced up.
Okay.
You should be able to have just a little bit of material here. You don't want it too tight in the where your little toe and your big toe is. And then at the end of the shoe, you should probably have at least a half a thumb width, if not even more. And the reason for that, when you're fitting, when you have a shoe on and you're walking, your foot is moving back and forth inside the shoe. And if you need that room because you're going to move just a little bit, and you don't want your toe bumping up against the end of the shoe and causing problems like perhaps blisters or something, or maybe even bruising. And if you have diabetes, you definitely don't want that, because that could start a bit of an abrasion. Could be very bad for somebody that has diagnosed with diabetes.
So one of the things that Ron taught me, who's the owner of DT Footwear, and I thought this is really neat, is that if you pull your insole or your insert out of your current pair of shoes that you've been wearing, is see where your toes, because it's going to leave an indent or an imprint on the insert. If it's right up against the edge, it's a good sign that your shoes are just a little bit too tight. You need a longer width or longer length, and that you really should be back, say, a quarter inch or so from the edge of that insert. So that's a good indicator. For people that are watching the video, for a firm heel counter, now I notice up here it's very squishy. However, I can feel as we get lower where the actual ball or the heel is, it's actually firm. So when you talk about a firm heel counter, this is something you can actually check at home. If this collapses, you simply don't have the support that the heel needs, and also on the backside. Again, if I go at the top, that's going to collapse. That's not a problem. But back towards the center, I'm not able to squeeze that down.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And also, as you notice that this heel counter, or the top of the heel counter, comes up a little bit higher than some others. So this is a little bit lower, this is a little bit higher. So this will cup the heel a little better. And also notice that the way that the shoe is formed, this is the Ultra, or this particular shoe, is a little bit more for a fuller foot, while the Tour Knit, in this case, is for a foot that has maybe a little bit narrower heel.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So this will fit a little bit narrower heel, and it'll cup it. It'll cup the heel a little bit better, both here and here.
So you're kind of talking from here. This is a little bit wider intentionally in the back,
and this is lower too here in the back. So see, this is. Now, this is lower, this is a little higher.
Is this a design indication that if this is lower, that it's going to be a little bit wider? Or is it just
not
particular
necessarily
to this style?
Not necessarily. What this means is that this one's going to have a little bit easier entry. Okay. And this one, you're going to need, your foot is probably going to need to come in right in here, where this one can come in here. So it's a lower, since it's a lower back, entry will be a little bit easier into a shoe like this.
All right, very interesting.